Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to look at a pretty handy tool that if you're broke down on the trail and you have a bracket in your hand also and you're trying to figure out how to put it back on, well, let me show you what we got. It's the Bun Trail Welder. Right, so we were looking for a trail welder and we found this one. It doesn't break the bank. Looks like it will provide a pretty good weld. Alright, so this is made to run off two 12-volt batteries. Got a wiring set up here that you connect the batteries to. Your ground lead. The main welder. It's all in a nice tight little package. Got a little feeder. Looks pretty well made. Pretty nice little feed system. It's almost just like having a normal spool gun. This is hooked to one of your battery terminals. This takes a little bit of power to run the drive motors. We'll be hooking up to a battery to see what it'll do. Two batteries. Went and picked these up at the local Rural King. So it's got these clamps that toggle lock onto the battery. So that's definitely nice quality there. It's a nice lead. So when I put it together, I had a nice eye for detail. I don't have to get a wrench out and tighten these things up. To the positive, battery 1, the black terminal, to the negative, battery 2. And it says the minute this is connected, we're live. But once again, they had a nice job on these. Nice cable connections. Nice ground strap. I've seen cheaper ground clamps on actual welders you work with. More or less a mobile one like this. Alright, so we'll just put this on the table now. And we'll connect this after I get my gear on. See. So obviously I need to work on the very end. I need to move a little faster. You can see here at the end that, you know, I didn't fill the puddle, but I think weld's pretty hot. It looks like it's got pretty good penetration too. Pretty impressed with it. Alright, so we got the bracket. It's clamped on. Now let's see if we can get it to stay. Keep in mind that the unit does not have feed or power controls. It runs direct off two 12-volt batteries. It may not be the best looking weld. You're not going to leave these welds probably on Instagram, but the unit will get you home so you can post on Instagram. Keep in mind it's flux core, so if you buy one, make sure you pack a brush or something to go with you. Alright, so lastly, I'm bending the entire bracket. Alright, to change out the consumables, pretty easy. Take the little cover off. Nozzles, just like a traditional MIG gun. We got to take the tip off. Very traditional there as well. Right. There's a guide here. So the consumables, if you know how to change on a traditional MIG, it's like you can do it on this as well. And from what I'm seeing, it's a pretty well made unit. You can definitely spend more money. You want more controls. That comes at a cost. Remember, when you pull any kind of MIG wire out, don't let it unspool. It is nice they used a good American made wire on this. So best weld wire, what comes with it. Looks like here's your tension setting right here. A big old pauser in the way. Tension setting right here for the wheel. I'm just going to back that off and push the wire through. Well, that's pretty easy to change. So tension settings right here. So this little thumb wheel just pushes on the bearing and pushes against the guide. Pretty nice. So from this standpoint, it's no different than a traditional MIG gun. You just put your tip on. You know, it has a liner just like a regular MIG gun does. The nice tips have a flat on them. Put the shield on, just slides on. It looks like setting tension, pretty similar to a regular gun. You want to give it just enough tension to where it'll push back just a little bit. And you would just put your cover back on. Really, for the cost of the unit, for what it's doing, I mean, if you're wanting to start a mobile welding business, obviously this is not your welder. But if you're stuck out in a trail and you got to glue something back together, track bar came off or something like that, I definitely think this could do the job and do it quite nicely. And it's not going to break the bank. We were looking at other units. There was quite a spread. That's when we came across this one, and for the price, very nice. Alright, so let's just do a little quick check. So I've probably laid down 10 or 15 beads so far. Let's grab the old handy voltmeter here and let's see where we're at. So this one's at 12. And this one's at 13. Now I didn't check them in the beginning of all this, but that's right in line with the traditional battery. So while I might put them on the charger a little bit before I use them again, I don't see where I really use a whole lot of power out of them. The review of the Bun Trail Welder. I think it's a really good unit for what it is. Right, you're not going to take this out and run a mobile welding service. That's not this forte. This forte is, I'm broke on a trail, I've ripped off a track bar, shock mount, or something like that, and I got to get it stuck back together somehow. Well, here you go. That's it. And when it comes to you, it already had the wire in it. All the wiring is pretty simple, as you've seen. They did a really good job with the connections with that easy clamp. So really, the only thing you'll have to buy is 2 batteries. Now I went to our local Rural King here. I bought 2 smaller 12-volt batteries, just so you know these things are going to be in the back of a vehicle. So if you put them in the back of your vehicle, make sure you secure them, just in case. Well, we all know how trails are. You could always go with the battery in your rig and just take 1 extra. So I've done quite a few welds with this already, probably 10 to 12 welds, and it's still going strong. So with that, I think the Bun Trail Welder is a pretty good buy. You know, it was under $300, And I've seen other welders out there, 800, 1800. You know, this guy was kind of the limit what I was looking at. Now, if you really want to go with a true cordless welder from what I was looking at, well, those were over $3,000. And this is something that hopefully you don't use all the time. Because obviously when this comes out, you've had a bad day. Probably a fun day, but you got to fix some things now. So, if you need a good trail welder, I think this is a really good choice. Take a little bit of time, weld a few things with it. I think its forte is 1/4 inch and over. You might have to lay a little weld down, let it cool, weld a little bit, let it cool, because it's hot. Right? As far as consumables, it's just like a traditional MIG welder. It comes with the 035 wire, and well, it's pretty much a spool gun, but you don't have the adjustability of voltage or speed. And that's the only thing I would say, if I wish it had anything, it would be the ability to adjust the voltage or the speed a little bit. But that would come at a price. So I don't know if I'd be willing to pay more for that. So if you're looking for a good trail repair, that Bun Trail Welder I think is a good choice. I'll leave all that stuff in the descriptions. And if you want to know more about welding, I'll see you on one of these other videos. So until the next trail repair or next build, this is Jeepingmo. I'll see you in the next video.